Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Parisa Snahania and my partner is Ayuna Azahra. In this video, we will explain the material that is about intonation. First of all, I will explain about definition of intonation. According to Highcroft, intonation is the tone of a sentence comparable with the rise and fall of the tone in a piece of music. Intonation is the movement of the voice between high and low pitch. English has two basic tones. They are ultimately falling and ultimately rising. Similarly, Roach defines intonation as the pitch of the voice. Only in very unusual situations do we speak with a fixed, unvarying pitch, and we speak normally. The pitch of our voice is constantly changing. Next, Allen defines intonation as the melody of speech, the changing pitch of the voice. It is to a certain extent controlled by stress, for important changes of pitch occur only on stressed syllables. English intonation can be classified into two types. Both normally begin with the first stressed syllable very high and fall stepwise from stress until the last significant or meaningful stress is reached. Type 1 is fall, remaining low for any further unstressed syllables, and type 2 is the rise, from a low tone, continuing the rise for any further unstressed syllable. Next, Jones explained intonation may be defined as the variation which take place in the pitch of the voice in connected speech, i.e. the variation and pitch of the musical note produced by the vibration of the vocal cords. Intonation is a quite different thing from stress. In ordinary speech, the pitch of the voice is continually changing. When the pitch of the voice rises, we have a rising intonation. When it falls, we have a falling intonation. When it remains on one note for an appreciable time, we have level intonation. In analyzing intonation, a tone unit is needed. Every tone unit has a tonic syllable. The tonic syllable is a syllable that carries a tone. And if the tonic syllable carries not only a tone but also a type of stress, then it will be called tonic stress. The tone unit has three components. They are head, prehead, and tail. The head is all of that part of the tone unit that extends from the first stressed syllable up to, but not including the tonic syllable. It follows that if there is no stressed syllable before the tonic syllable, there cannot be a head. The prehead is composed of all the unstressed syllables in a tone unit preceding the first stressed syllable. Any syllables between the tonic syllable and the end of the tone unit are called the tail. To illustrate this more fully, a passage is provided below. And then nearer to the front, on the left, there is a bit of forest coming down to the water side, and then a bit of a bay. Based on the explanation above, intonation generally is the changing pitch of our voice from high to low and rising to falling. One of the most important tasks is analyzing intonation is to listen to the speaker's speech and recognize what it is doing. After we knowing the meaning of intonation, then we also have to know what types of intonation. Here we will explain 5 types of intonation. Number 1, rising intonation. Number 2, falling intonation. Number 3, falling rising intonation. Number 4, rising falling intonation. And the last one, level intonation. The first is rising intonation. Rising intonation describes how the voice rises at the end of a sentence. Rising intonation is normally used in yes or no question. For example, are you happy? Do you study English every day? Will you go to school tomorrow? Have you met him? Next is falling intonation. Falling intonation describes how the voice falls on the final stressed syllable of the phrase or a group of words. A falling intonation is very common in WH question. WH question, i.e. questions that begin with interrogative words such as who, what, where, when, how, why, require falling intonation. For example, where do you live? What do you want? Which do you like best? Why do you complain? How far is your destination? Next is falling rising intonation. The falling rising intonation is used a lot in English and has some rather special function. It is to describe limited agreement or responses with reservation. For example, I don't want to be late. She never drinks tea. Well, I don't agree. I don't believe it's true. Next is rising falling intonation. This is used to convey rather strong feelings of approval, disapproval, or surprise. It is not usually considered to be an important tone for foreign learners to acquire, although it is still useful practice to learn to distinguish it from other tones. For example, we walk home because we missed the train. Afterwards, we went home. If I put it up there, it will fall off. Since you refuse to help, I must do it alone. If you like, I'll send the car for you. For the next material will be explained by my partner Ayuna Azahra.
Level intonation. Level intonation is a series of word, phrases, or clauses in a sentence. This tone is certainly used in English, but in rather excited contexts, it almost always conveys, on single syllable utterance, a feeling of saying something routine, uninteresting, or boring. For example, a teacher calling the names of pupils from register will often do so using level tone on each name, and the pupils are likely to respond with yes in level intonation when their name is called. Combined intonation. Allen 1954 and 59 also formulate combined intonation, which usually occurs on two or more clauses. Two uses of combined intonation are as follows. The first sentence beginning with subordinate clause have rising intonation and followed by falling intonation for the main clause. For example, when he came, I asked him to wait. Example 2. After the game, we had some tea. Sentence beginning with main clause have falling intonation and followed by rising intonation for the subordinate clause. It is particularly common with conditions spoken in hesitant manner. For example, I eat steak when I can get it. Example 2. I did buy a new one if I could afford it. Combined intonation is also used in alternative question and enumeration things. Example of alternative questions. Example 1. Shall we drive or shall we go by train? Example 2. Do you like tea or coffee or cocoa? Example of enumeration things. Example 1. There were apples and pears and plums. Example 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Intonation of imperative. In expressing imperative, Allen 1954 and 1907 suggest that it has falling intonation if the sentence expresses a command, and it has rising intonation if the sentence expresses a polite or friendly request. For example, bring me a chair. Wait a moment. Let's try again. Function of intonation. According to Roach, 2183 and 184. Function of intonation can be divided into the first attitudinal function, the second accentual function, the third grammatical function, the fourth discourse function. Attitudinal function. Intonation enables us to express emotion and attitudes as we speak, and this adds a special kind of meaning to spoken language. The notion of expressing an emotion or attitude itself a more complex one than is generalized or pronunciation of different way. For example, if the sentence was I want to buy a new car and you were to say in the following ways: pleading, angry, sad, happy, fruit, it is certain that at least some of your performance will be different from some others. Accentual function. Intonation helps to produce the effect of prement on syllables that need to be perceived as stress, and particular, the placing of tonic stress on a particular syllable marks out the word to which it belongs as the most important in the tone unit. For the example 1, I have plans to leave. I am planning to leave. Example 2, I have plans to leave. I have some plans, drawings, diagrams that I have to leave. Grammatical function. The listener is better able to recognize the grammar and syntactic structure of what is being said by using the information contained in the intonation. It is usual to illustrate the grammatical function by inventing sentences that when written are ambiguous and whose ambiguous can only be removed by using difference in intonation. For the example 1, those who sold quickly made a profit, meaning a profit was made by those who sold quickly. Example 2, those who sold quickly made a profit, meaning a profit was quickly made by those who sold. The difference caused by the placement of the tone unit boundary is seen to be equivalent to giving two different paraphrases of the sentence. Discourse function. Looking at the act of speaking in a broader way, we can see that intonation can signal to the listener what is to be taken as new information, and what is already given can suggest when the speaker is indicating some sort of contrast or language material in another tone unit, and in conversation can convey to the listener what kind of response is expected. For the example, A. Have you got any free time this morning? B. I might have later on if that meeting's off. A. They were talking about putting it later. B. You can be sure each sentence could be studied in isolation and be analyzed in terms of grammatical construction, lexical content, and so on. But it is obvious that the sentence forms part of some layer of conversational interaction between two speakers. The sentence contains several references that presuppose shared knowledge. Example, Gracia, that meaning implies that both speakers know which meeting is being spoken about. and in some cases the meaning of a sentence can only be correctly interpreted in the light of knowledge of what has preceded in the conversation. Exempli Gracia, you can be sure. If we consider how intonation may be studied in relation to discourse, we can identify two main areas. One of them is the use of intonation to focus the listener's attention on aspects of the message that are more important, and the other is concerned with the regulation of conventional behavior.
The next is intonation technique. In order to be understood by the audience, the presenter must be able to speak clearly. However, before that, of course, the presenter also needs to practice. To be able to have a good intonation when speaking, there are several techniques that need to be done. The following are techniques for practicing intonation in speaking. Number 1 is do it a slow tempo, increasing and to faster tempo. Number 2, try to do it with varying tempo. Number 3 is the intervals used in training can be start from close intervals, then increase to long intervals. Number 4 is practice with a natural tone until you can walk well. Next, practice using chromatic tones. Number 5 is the number of tones you start from the other tones. The longer it gets smaller and the number increases. Number 6, try songs that match the stage of the workout you're doing for practice. The next is tips how to set the intonation of the voice during a presentation. The audience certainly doesn't know and may not care about the pre-presentation preparation. What is expected is that the presenter can deliver an interesting presentation. Therefore, presenters must adjust the intonation when presenting. When presenting, it is very important to pay attention to intonation. Whether or not the pronunciation is clear will greatly affect the understanding of the audience. The better and clear the pronunciation and intonation, the faster the audience will understand the material. Setting the intonation during a presentation is something that needs to be done. Intonation also shows the personality, interest, and confidence of a presenter. How to adjust intonation when explaining material in front of an audience? Here are some ways that can be used to adjust the intonation of the voice, namely, number 1 is contrast in volume. When speaking, pay attention to when to raise your voice. A louder voice is usually used to emphasize something. For example, when there are important points that the audience needs to remember. The presenter needs to say it loudly and firmly but still politely, while for other points can be spoken normally with a low volume. Make sure that the sound doesn't sound boring or monotone. Number 2 is contrast in speech rate. When explaining the material, the presenter also needs to pay attention to how fast he speaks. The tempo of speaking needs to adjust to the situation and condition. For example, presenters can use a fast tempo when they are enthusiastic in conveying things that are not important, such as small talk or stories. Slow speech tempo can be applied when conveying important points in a presentation. The goal is as a differentiator and affirmation of the material. That way, the audience will automatically distinguish what is conveyed in the mind. Number 3 is contrast in pitch. Often people find it difficult to distinguish between volume and pitch. Pitch is how high and low a person's voice is when speaking, especially when delivering material. Setting the pitch in the presentation is also considered important so that the audience does not feel bored while listening and even sleepy. Presenters can raise their voice at the beginning of the presentation to greet the audience. In this way, the audience sees the presenter excited and unconsciously will also feel more excited. Audiences can also feel comfortable while listening because they think the presenter is not boring. The presenter can also lower his voice when explaining the presentation material. The most important thing is to be able to condition according to the circumstance. Make sure it's not so slow that the audience can hear it and not so high that it's distracting. Number 4 is contrast in quality. Presenters can also express emotion and expressions through voice intonation. The intonation someone speaking is a picture of feelings. Audiences will notice if a presenter feels enthusiastic, excited, happy, concerned, or sad. This includes what the audience likes. The reason is the audience does not feel bored when listening to the presenter speak in front of them. It is very dependent on the presenter who brings the atmosphere to be more relaxed. The use of inappropriate intonation, of course, can make the audience misunderstand what is being said. The next is stress patterns. In reality, stress patterns are essential in learning English. People notice the number of syllables and the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables to understand a person saying. If there is something wrong in a person's syllable stress pattern of words, the difficulty of understanding to what he or she is trying to say may come up. Furthermore, the amount of syllables in a word or a group of words is the number of vowels in the words. Words with 2 or more syllables, one syllable is always stronger than the others or stressed. Those with stressed syllables tend to be stronger, so they might be louder, longer, or be with a different pitch, higher or lower from unstressed syllables around them. The words also have full and clear vowels. While in unstressed syllables, the vowel is usually shortened or pronounced as a neutral vowel. In addition, words with more than one syllable contain a fixed stress pattern. For example, electric, relation, and presenting, they all have the same stress pattern because they are in the same number of syllables. They all have 3. They have the same pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables. The second syllable is stressed. In dictionary, stress patterns are usually marked by a mark before the stressed syllable, such as in the words electric, relation, and presenting. In books and teaching research, occasionally capital letters are used to show stressed syllables and lowercase for unstressed syllables. Electric, relation, presenting. Another way to write stress pattern for teaching purpose is by using different sized dots to be a symbol of stressed and unstressed syllables and placing the dots under the vowel in each syllable. The next is word stress. When we speak multi-syllable words, the stress comes on one of the syllables while the other syllables are usually spoken quietly. For example, we have the words qualify, banana, understand. These words have 3 identifiable syllables and one of the syllables in each word will sound louder than the others. Then, they will be written as qualify, banana, and understand. The syllables written in capitals are the stressed syllables. In a word in isolation, its stressed syllables change in the pitch and the vowel sound on that syllables is lessened.
Stress may be on the first, middle, or last syllables of words as the following examples: syllabus, substitute, technical, engagement, banana, phonetic, assert, kangaroo, understand. We can recognize where the stress falls by tying these ideas. The first, put this word in the end of a short sentence and say it over a few times. For example, it isn't It's in the syllabus. He had a prior engagement. I don't understand. The second, say this word as though you have been surprised. For example, syllabus ? Banana ? Kangaroo ? In dictionaries, we take a note of the stress with help of a mark before the stress syllable. They are written like this: banana or engagement or understand. Rules of word stress. Number 1. Core vocabularies. Number 2. Prefix and suffixes. Number 3. Compound words. Number 4. Words having a dual role. Next, number 1. Core vocabularies. Many everyday nouns and adjectives of 2 syllable length are stressed on the first syllables. Example are sister, brother, mother, water, paper, table, coffee, lovely, etc. Prefix and suffix. These are not usually in English considered quietly, originally, defective, and so on. Note the exception taught among prefix like bicycle, disclose. Compound words. Words formed from a combination of 2 words tend to be stressed on the first element. Example are postman, newspaper, teapot, and crossword. Number 4. Words having a dual role. In the case of words which can be used as either a noun or a verb, the noun will tend to be stressed on the first syllable in line with the core vocabulary rule above, and the verb on the last syllable in line with the prefix rule. Examples are import and import v, rebel and rebel v, and increase and increase v. What is unstressed? In recognizing on syllables as stressed, the syllables around is unstressed. In the word syllabus, we notice that the first syllable is stressed. This indicates that the final 2 are unstressed. Moreover, in the word banana, the first and third syllables are unstressed, and the middle one is stressed. We can advance our pronunciation by focus on pronouns, the stressed syllables. Undoubtedly, on the subject of unstressed syllables, there are a variety of things to notice. The phoneme, known as schwa, or the sound of ou, or can be heard in the first syllable of about, in the second syllables of favor, and also in the third syllables of intricate. The table below shows the use of ou with the corresponding written vowels underlined. Syllabus, substitute, technical, engagement, banana, phonetic, assert, kangaroo, understand. From table 3, we know that sound eu is the most regularly occurring vowel sound in English. It never appears within a stressed syllable. Schwa is by an unstressed sound. If you try to stress any syllable which naturally contains eu. You change its properties and another phoneme is produced. As it can be seen from the words in the following table, eu can be represented through spelling in a variety of ways. Here are some spellings with the use of eu underlined, as in erase syllable banana, as in phenomena, excellent and follow, as in pupil experiment, communicate, as in tomorrow, baden develop, as in support, bogus and difficult. Sentence stress. In a discussion about stress, there are ways where a speaker wants to give information about the certain message to the listener. One of the ways is to write or other stress on the words which carry the information. When words are said together in a sentence or utterance, certain syllables will be stressed in order to express the most important information. For listeners, it is important that they enable to focus on the utterance, while for the speakers, they have to give highlight in their important information or message. Otherwise, the listeners will get difficult in interpreting or understanding the utterance or sentence they are listening. The teaching of sentence stress is more effective if teacher can select the important message of the context. It is simply that our speaking or our utterance is emphasized to the most important words. But how can we know or choose the most important one? Because it seems that every word is important. It is to remember that our utterance is not tied to sentences. When we are doing conversation, we often use incomplete sentence phrases which would be considered ungrammatical if written down, interrupt each other, and so on. Nevertheless, a study of stress with incomplete sentence provides a user-friendly way of drawing attention to the main aspect of how we use stress in speech. Generally, we give stress to content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, and we do not give stress to the structural or functional words such as articles, preposition, auxiliary verb, conjunction, and so on. Those structural or functional words unstressed in sentence are usually pronouns in weak forms of pronunciation.
That's all from us, and this is references of this material. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for any mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.